Thank you. So good morning, everyone. I'm Marc de Courville, Arcos CTO. And this talk is about a new, safe and flexible way to expand storage space through the use of an external SD card. We call it at Arcos Fusion Storage, and I will explain the motivation behind adding these two features to our product. So this presentation has been co-authored by Pierre Hugusson. He's present in the room here, so when we'll get some questions, he'll be welcome to participate. But before jumping right away into the details of the presentation, for those who do not know Arcos, we are a French company and a French manufacturer of Android-based tablets and phones. And also we do a connected home solution based on Android. Okay? We come from a strong multimedia background. We did in the 2000 the first HDD-based MP3 player. It was a proprietary internal OS. We did also in 2003 the first portable media player, MP4 player. And in 2009, we did the first Android tablet. It was not possible to have it Google certified because tablets were not existing at that time. We did in 2012 the first certified Android TV. That was a challenge because it just appeared on the market right now. In 2013, we started doing smartphones on Android. In 2014, we had the first Android-based connected home solution. And we just announced recently a full network of Internet of Things called Pico One that will deploy soon, and we'll do a demo at Mobile World Congress. So we've been doing Android since the beginning, I would say, in 2008 with Android 1.5. We have a direct MADA with Google that enables us to certify Google devices. We've certified over 100 products already. We have no religion in terms of CPU to be used. We've been working with a lot of SoC vendors, Qualcomm, MediaTek, Spectrum, Rockchip, Allwinner, TI. There are a few that we have not been dealing with, but which gives us quite some experience in the Android arena. We have direct support from CPU vendors, and we are also not involved only on the hardware side, but we do applications. We do, for instance, our Arcos video player. There's also the file browser that we include in our products, and it's available on Google Play. So that's who we are. So now let's talk a bit about the challenge nowadays in building an affordable device, because Arcos is not competing with the A brands. We are trying to do products that are affordable and yet very powerful. So when you design a phone, when you have to do compromises to reduce the price, what you do is usually you decrease the available storage space, okay? And there's a classical thinking that by adding an external micro SD card, it will save you on Android. I will show you that it is not the case. Because when you add an external micro SD card, this additional space cannot be used for installing new apps. It can only be used for putting more multimedia content, as it is right now. So let's see what happens, for example, if you have a 4 GB storage. Your ROM takes 1 GB approximately. There's a lot of miscellaneous partitions that eats again 500 megabytes, which leaves basically 2.2 GB of available storage. But when you unbox your product, what do? You upgrade the Google apps, Gmail, Google Play, and what it does, it takes 500 megabytes for that, 200 megabytes on the Dalvik cache, not mentioning all the art in data. So at the end, what remains for you is only 1.5 GB free for storing everything and installing apps, which is quite limited. Okay, but that was for Android 4.4 KitKat. Okay, at that time it was 500 megabytes for GMS updates. Now it's more 1 GB, and when you jump to Lollipop, it's more than 1.5 GB of data used. So that's why now on Android you have to put 8 GB of storage to be certified. It's in the CDD, the Android compatibility definition document. Okay? So in this contribution, we propose a solution, a remedy to that illness, to overcome the issue of the lack of storage, and we call it Arcos Fusion Storage. And what we do is that we dedicate all internal storage for installing application, and we do not let multimedia content there, and we try to push it to the external micro SD card. Okay? If we try to summarize the features of this solution, first, it achieves transparent fusion of internal storage and external SD card. So the user sees only one storage, okay? And you can do it anytime you want. And you can, so that's quite flexible. There's other solutions provided by MediaTek, for example, is to switch the microSD with internal storage. Of course, it can be done only one time. You cannot revert it, and it's less flexible. We have an optional migration process of internal data to external storage to optimize the storage space. There's, even if you add a microSD that is FAT32 formatted, with our solution, you have no 4 GB file size limit, and we have a smart storage balancing. In essence, the philosophy of our solution, I will explain later, but is to be completely transparent to Android, because it's always easier not to touch Android, not to break everything, and we want to ensure maximum compatibility. Okay? So I will explain in detail what's Arcos Fusion Storage, but before going into the details of the solution, let's take a step back and summarize the evolution of internal and external storage in the history of Android. There's a couple of styles there. It will get a bit confusing, but it's to understand that it's not an easy topic. On Android, applications are installed in which folder? /data, okay, on internal storage. This way, this guarantees that applications are isolated, there's a sandboxing, and provide inherent data protection, okay? But when you are doing photographic pictures, for example, there's still a need to share sometimes data between applications, for instance, between the camera application and the gallery or other apps, okay? So to store large files away from internal storage, there has been a proposal to mount an external micro SD card on a directory that is called /SD card. So on Android Cupcake, this was a real physical micro SD card. Okay, there was no permission, and through this space or this mounted SD card, you were able to share the different data across the apps. Okay. So, but on Android 2.2, the application size grew a lot, okay? And at this point, a small ROM of 512 megabytes was not enough for large applications, okay? So in order to save additional space, Google proposed a new mechanism which is called Ape2SD, which basically moves data to SD card. Okay, so that you are freeing the internal storage space for installing more space. Okay, but data which contain auxiliary data, which represents since a lot of volume, were still stored in internal storage. So this initial mechanisms that was provided by Google nowadays is not really helpful, because the majority of the data is stored in data and not data app. Okay, so adding an SD card to be able to save photo at one point was perceived as a real limitation. You got a phone, you could not take pictures until you add a physical SD card. Okay, and with time also, storage was cheaper, and the phone anyway got more internal storage space. So at this point, what has been proposed is that a new partition was created on internal storage, mounted on /SD card to preserve compatibility. And at that point, what is very important to understand is that /SD card was not anymore a micro SD. Was not a physical device. It was just a partition of the internal storage. Okay? So then there has been a nightmare for manufacturers. The manufacturers, they had an internal storage split in two partitions, the SD card where you can put your data, multimedia, and /data where you can install the apps. The problem, of course, was to choose the right size for each of the two partitions. Okay? But if you give more space to the apps installed, you reduce the space to put movies, for example, or multimedia content. And if you give more space to data, you reduce the space for multimedia. So at one point, we had a hard split to do, and this hard split was not very satisfactory for all the users. So that was a big headache, and it raised a lot of complaints. Okay? So this is why with Honeycomb 3.0, a more flexible solution was introduced. In fact, it avoids the hard split of data and SD card by creating a virtual file system called SD card mounted on the data media partition. Okay? So now you understand that SD card and data on the same physical partition, they are seen as separate, but in reality, it's the same partition. Therefore, you have the flexibility in allocating the full storage for applications or multimedia files. Okay. So how has it been performed? There's a fuse daemon called SD card that emulates SD card and FEKIM also the same permissions as FAT to grant backward compatibility. Okay. So now if you ask get external storage, it points to the same storage as application storage. That is to say, what you have to remember that at this point of Honeycomb and upward, SD card is data media. Okay, to simplify things, Jelly Bean added the concept of multi-user and resulted, of course, in multiple downloads of apps for each account, which eats even more space, right? So in order to avoid that, Android proposed to move the external data to SD card Android OBB, okay, which is a folder that is shared between users, solving this problem, okay? Before KitKat, there was no way to probe the availability of second shared storage. So now you understand that on your device, SD card is the internal storage. And when you add an SD card, it's not called SD card. It's called, let's say, an external SD card, which is very confusing. Okay? So there was no official way to probe second shared storage. So manufacturers like Samsung, Arcos, and others, what they did is they implemented their way for mounting external storage like micro SD or USB drives. Okay, and of course, all the file manager application developers had to find a way to be universal and detect all these tricks, which is unfortunate. Okay, so as a result, almost no application apart from Google Play uses Android 4.4 API to handle secondary storage. So now it's a big mess. There's a confusing situation. Nobody understands what's SD card, but everybody is saving data to SD card anyway. Okay. So KitKat introduced a new API to finally address multiple storage. Okay. Get OBB DIRs, get external cache DIRs, get external file DIRs. But the problem with that is that this API remains private to the framework and not public, and thus not usable by applications and file managers. So, that's a big problem. So through a game of mounting points, now micro SD is seen as SD card, storage SD card directory from application. And at this point, SD card is no longer a FAT, so there's a problem with permissions. And as a result, you have file managers cannot write anymore to the SD card. They can read it, but they cannot write to it, which is awesome. Well, they can write it when it's its own data, but it's very restrictive for security reasons. So at this point, we got a lot of complaints from customers, retailers, that with KitKat, we were not being able to write to the external SD cards from applications, and it was really perceived as a bug. But we had to explain that it was standard Google behavior. So that's strange. Okay. Now, is it getting any better with Lollipop? Not really. There is still no USB mass storage integration on Nexus devices, and there's yet another IPE that is introduced called Storage Access Framework, used only in practice for cloud implementation and is by no means enforced by the Google tests. And apps can still only read and not write to the external SD card. But at this point there, customers get used to it, so we have less and less complaints. Okay? So now you understand through this rather long history, okay, that about internal and external storage evolution in Android, that it is not an easy topic, and that an external microSD is not well integrated in Android even nowadays. Okay? So, and again, adding an external SD card is not entirely designed to expand transparently the number of applications to be installed. Okay? Before introducing Arco's innovative solution to this problem, let's recap first the basics and once for all, the 4 essential folders for storing APK and data that you have on a device. Okay? You have a data app, which is where the APK will be installed. Data for storing application settings, cache locations, or optimizations that are performed by Android and installations. Okay? Some games even store uncompressed data there, which is a bad habit because it's not relocatable to external storage and eats your internal storage space. And normally, you have to keep in mind that data is often larger than data app itself. Okay, for example, for Google, for Gmail and the others. Okay, so /SD card consists in a shared storage among many apps, but it's not the micro SD card. Okay, and XSD card is the physical external micro SD that you can insert, but it's mainly used for multimedia and our documents. Okay. So now let's explain again what, in the view of what we explained, what Arcos Fusion Storage is. So our goal there is to allow the installation of more applications with the help of an external micro SD card. Okay, it's not an easy task if you look at what Android provides as a means to do it. Okay. This is we achieve it by expanding internal SD card storage to physical external SD card and making it seen as one storage space to the user. So when we activate our solution, even if you have inserted a micro SD card, you will see only one internal storage. Some important yet somehow restricting design choices have been made. Okay. The internal storage is dedicated for applications, and thus we do not export applications to the external SD card, but we push all the multimedia files and the device content to the external micro SD. This way, and why we are doing that? Because if you remove your micro SD from your product, you still want your product not to explode and issue a lot of exception and being usable. So this is the only way we can do it safely. Okay? One could think that it would restrict the available number of applications that can be installed. But if you look at Play Store size limit for an application, it's 100 megabytes. So if you have 3 gigabytes of space free, this means that you can install many more than 30 applications on your device, which is quite good. And anyway, largest apps can always use OBB stored on the SD card. Okay, so now you get the concept. You get perhaps a bit puzzled by all this, but let's see how is it perceived by how Arcos Fusion works from a user standpoint. So if you insert a micro SD in your product and you boot it, at boot time, the new micro SD will be detected and it will be proposed to activate Arcos Fusion Storage. Okay? if you do not want to do it, you're welcome not to do so, and you can do it later on in the process through the settings, okay? But if you activate it, then there's a migration of internal SD card data to external micro SD that is proposed to optimize storage space and leave even more space for your application installation, okay? That remains always on internal storage. After that, to activate Arcos Fusion Storage, you still need to reboot your device. And during the reboot, this optimization is performed transparently. That is to say, you can still operate your device. It's usable. Well, there's a bit of less performance because files are being transferred. But after the reboot, this transparent migration is highlighted in the notification area. And once completed, it says that it is complete. Okay? In Arcos Fusion setting, there's a dual-sided representation of the space available. There you see that you have only one storage, but it's dual-sided. You have the internal storage and the external storage. And there you can see how much of your internal storage is used and how much of your external SD card storage is used. Okay, so though it appears as one storage, you can still have the granularity of the space used in internal and external SD card. Okay, now that you get the concept, let's see how it has been implemented. Okay. For this, we rely, Arcos Fusion Storage relies on a special modified and customized version of OnionFS that we developed in order to have no 4 GB size limit, even with FAT32. Actually, when you store a file that is greater than 2 GB, it's split in various chunks. From Android side, you see only one file, but at the file system level, of course, you have different chunks that are automatically merged at system level. What we achieve also smart storage balancing. So that is to say, when you store a file or a new document or a movie, it goes to the external SD card automatically unless it is filled up, and then it will go to the internal storage. Okay? So that way, it's completely transparent to the user. The user has nothing to do. Okay? It still relies on SD card daemon to enforce file permission checking, which is mandatory. Okay? So we have to do that in some init scripts. One at boot to determine if the current SD card is the same as the previous boot. So if it's different, if it's not the same, it disables the fusion and proposes to do the fusion again. It means that you have changed SD card. There's another script that checks if the fusion is enabled. See, if it is enabled, the OnionFS is activated with the card daemon on top of it. It disables the SD card daemon and just starts with standard data media. Okay? Intermediate mount points are created and are located in a way that is not accessible by any applications or system, and only system apps can access it. So this is what is behind the hood, and this is how we did it. It's rather simple. Everybody can do it, or every manufacturer that has a brain. There are some tricks though, but this is how we do it. Okay. So there's an inevitable question, of course. So we have Arcos Fusion Storage in all our recent products running KitKat or above, Lollipop. However, you have probably heard of the new adoptable storage in Marshmallow feature. So basically, it's an unencrypted block with ext4 on raw storage. What is nice about it is that you can move both APK and data to the external SD card. This is not what we do with Arcos Fusion Storage. It's multi-user proof. It works with encryption. There's a benchmark checking of your micro SD card before activation, which is nice as well. What is not really nice is that, in a way, you can view it as an enhanced app2SD. And it's not transparent. You have to manually, again, like all times, move your APK yourself. It's not automatic. It requires for the app developer an approval. So, and it's not file system transparent. You need to reformat your SD card. And if you remove your SD card, you cannot read it anywhere else. Okay? And if you lose your micro SD, you lose all the apps you've migrated to your micro SD. So now I have a question for you. When would you enable this feature? If you look at different storage sizes, internal and external, if you have a large internal storage space, it's not obvious that it's the best thing to do. So it will require really experimented users to decide what to do exactly to optimize their storage space. So us at Arcos, we prefer something that is transparent to the user, that is more Madame Michou or average Joe compliant. And this is why we prefer for the moment, even with these new features that we will take into account, our solution. But since Android is providing these new possibilities, we will think about how we can modify our current solution to benefit from these new additions. Okay. So now that you know more about Android storage management and Arcos Fusion storage solution to overcome some inherent Android limitations, DroidCon is, after all, a conference about Android development. So let's share some recommendations for app developers that we think are relevant. You know that slash data is not readable and between applications and provide application shielding. So what we recommend is to use it to store sensitive information. Okay? Otherwise, for the rest of your data, please use OBB and data-dir instead, because it's easier to relocate that on the micro SD and thus save space on your device. For example, have a subliminal message there to Facebook that it's 400 megabytes of my slash data on my device, which is a bit much. If you have, if you want to use OBB, a nice thing about OBB is that Google will even pay for the bandwidth for you to download it, and it's shared between multi-users. Okay. Another recommendation is SD card, because you can access it from your PC. It can always be messed up. You can delete inadvertently some data. So data should only be used, okay? SD card should only be used for non-sensitive information. And if you have things that, if it gets erased, makes your application not working, it should always be stored in slash data. That's again another subliminal message to Waze and TomTom, for example, where often I have to reset completely the device when there's something erased on my internal SD card. So that concludes my speech and gives 8 minutes of questions before the inevitable deadline of this presentation. Thank you. Now everybody is confused about internal and external storage on Android.
So, who has questions?
Either in French or in English, no problem.
Can we install this solution on our own devices?
Unfortunately not, because you have some init scripts to modify. Okay. It's rather low level, so it needs to be embedded within deeply in the roots of the device. However, we will plan in future of releasing the source code for this solution, because with Android 6 evolution, I think, and anybody that, I think it could be feasible with root permissions, yeah, or if you have a rooted firmware to install it. But it's not really useful for Nexus devices because they don't have a micro SD slot yet. But for other devices, it can be integrated. It's not easy.
Okay. It will be open source.
In the future, yes. When everybody will get to Android 6, we'll make it available for everyone.
No more questions?
Okay, thank you.